Let's call the meeting to order. Today is December 9th, 2021. Secretary, trustee board meeting. You got attendance taken, Roxanne?
Yes, I can do that. Mrs. Demke? Present. Mr. Janis?
Here.
Mrs. Bauer?
Here.
Lemon, you're here. Mr. Bush?
Here.
And Mrs. Keaton? Here. Okay, we have a quorum.
Alrighty. Everybody look over the minutes of last month meeting. Any questions, changes? Hearing none, approved as presented. Let's go to the bank report. Horizon Bank.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We have the report for November, and we'll start at the summary page on the top with our permanent maintenance agreement account. It was up 0.08% for the month and 0.94% year-to-date. The next account is the permanent maintenance loan rate. It was up 0.05% for the month and 0.79% year-to-date. The extension fund account was up 0.07% for the month and 0.99% year-to-date. The account was down, the merchandise and commissions fund account was down 0.002% for the month and down 0.01% for the month. And in the extension fund account, there were miscellaneous payments for Perfect Town, and in the merchandise and commissions fund account, there were payments for Matthews and Harris. Next, we'll turn to the account details, and in the permanent maintenance Greenwood account, the money market remains unchanged at 0.02%. And the mutual fund's overall yield is 0.968%, which is down from last month's yield of 1.06%. The overall yield in the account is 1.475%, which is down from last month's yield of 1.53%. In the permanent maintenance Swan Lake account, the mutual fund's overall yield was 0.968%, which is up from last month's yield of 0.96%. The overall yield in the account is at 1.475%, which is up from last month's yield of 1.3%. In the extension funds on the next page, the mutual fund's overall yield was 1.008%, which is down from last month's yield of 1.09%. The overall yield in the account is at 1.436%, which is down from last month's yield of 1.473%. And in the last account on the final page, the merchandise fund, the mutual fund's overall yield was 1.006%, down from last month's yield of 1.10%. And the overall yield in the account was 0.469%, down from last month's yield of 0.56%. And I'll turn it over to Brad for comments on the overall market.
Thank you. The big news in the economy is that in November, the Federal Reserve announced it's going to begin tapering its bond purchase program that had been in place for the last, several months, year, and it was expecting to end that program by next June. However, recent comments from Chairman Powell hesitated that the taper could be accelerated due to the rising inflation that everybody's, I'm sure, seeing in their daily lives, and falling unemployment as well. We have record inflation numbers right now, and the inflation is actually stronger and longer lasting than the Fed had originally predicted or projected. Notably, recently Chairman Powell did say that it's time to retire the word transitory, that they were using all this time to talk about inflation, just because how long-lasting this has been and how strong it's been. Originally, the bond tapering program was supposed to end in June, and most economists now are saying it could be ending as soon as March of next year, so that's accelerating that process. After that process is over, the Fed will then start contemplating raising interest rates, raising the federal funds rate, and most predictions are stating now that that could happen as early as June, where in the past they had thought maybe the end of next year. So a lot of the stuff is being accelerated and being pulled forward. The end of that Fed bond purchasing program and raising the Fed funds rate should have the effect of increasing long-term interest rates as well. So we should start seeing that 10-year treasury start to finally get up, closer to 2%. How long that's going to take, no telling, but these programs and things that are in place should accelerate that process. Today, the 10 years at 1.47. It's been a range between 1.4 and 1.6 for the last few months. But again, we expect that should start rising in the future here. Again, I think we talked about this before. If interest rates do start drifting upward, that will start to put more downward pressure on existing fixed income investments. So it's not a pretty environment overall right now for fixed income. Not a lot of sunshine on the horizon. But I think once interest rates do start to be raised by the Fed, we'll start seeing some more stability, maybe the middle and next year, and start to see some type of okay returns. But it's just going to be rough for a while. To give an example. We thought we could talk about this in the past. The Bloomberg U.S. Aggregate Bond Index, which is sort of like the S&P 500 for bonds, that's down 1% this year. So if you just kind of put your money into just a broad index of fixed income, U.S. fixed income, you'd actually have a negative 1% return this year. This kind of gives you kind of a feeling of what the fixed income of the bond environment is like right now. CD rates, not too much movement. The 1 year is at 0.25%. The 3 years at 0.9, and then the 5 year is right around 1.2, 1.25. So I know that we did get into that long-term CD that had that early withdrawal penalty opt-out a while ago. That looks like a better and better move, the more that we progress this year. I think we're getting 1.2% on that one. So that's a fantastic return in the fixed income space right now. So that's going to give you an idea of where things are at. And that's all I have right now. Do you have any questions or anything? I know that Sarah was mentioning that there was some excess cash in one of the accounts, but there was some questions as to whether that should be invested or maybe that should be left in the money market for expenses.
It's
Extension,
the extension fund, yeah.
just we talked about it.
We did, I can't remember what we talked about.
The extension fund?
Yeah, I mean, with the excess money, what did we talk about on that? I don't remember.
The only project I know you have is road removal up at Greenwood in the spring,
Oh, that's why we're, yeah.
and you're gonna have to take it out of the
That-
extension fund.
Tree removal. Possibility. Yeah, so we're gonna leave that in as cash to get to it. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we'll just leave it as, leave it in cash for the time being, so we can have it for future projects and beginning next year. Okay.
And if that changes, just let us know. We can, even between meetings or something, if you did want to look at something, we can kind of
Okay.
play it by ear and talk to you guys
Okay.
as well.
All right. Any other questions for Horizon Bank? No. All righty. Our Everybody get a chance to look at our financial? I see Swan Lake had a good month last month. November. Greenwood was down a little bit, but overall, I don't think our debt is as much as what it was last year.
Yes, it's going down.
Yeah, which is nice to see.
At least we're taking away from it and not having to add to it.
Yeah. But it's nice to see that, you know, Swan Lake is actually producing. Greenwood is just
Selling.
selling, yeah. But it's just nice to see that nice little profit out of there for Swan Lake this year, and for this past month of November, when it, yeah. So, any other questions on financial? I hear a motion to accept the financial reports from Horizon and ours.
I'll make that motion to accept.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. This is over to reading of the bills.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy holidays. You too. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
In Mark's absence, I will read the bills. November bills. AmeriGas, $1,743.36. Water and sewage, $35.42. DeVries Tire, our superintendent's truck, $668.96. Cable and miscellaneous items, $57.70. Gasoline for the month, $685.22. Diesel, $479.60. Matthews Markers, $4,864.34. Michigan City Animal Hospital with the Swans, $355. NIPSCO, $519.46. Pictures from Markers, $201. Republic on the dumpster, $82.74. And Riggs for a fuel filter of $50.04. Permanent maintenance receipts for the month of November. Total was $1,409.75. Greenwood was $200 of it. Swan Lake was $1,209.75. Extension fund receipts was $2,891.25. Merchandise receipts, $7,983 for a grand total of $12,284.00. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
Move to pay the bills.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Since Mark's not here, we'll have Roxanne, Assistant Superintendent, read the Superintendent's report.
Okay. We have terminated 2 seasonal employees. We call it termination because they have to reapply in the spring. And we kept 1 seasonal for leaf pickup. And then weather permitting, the seasonal, as long as there's seasonal work up there, we will keep that gentleman at least 1 more this year. The Swans were pinned, or will be pinned in the next week or 2, depending on the weather, and no later than December 22nd. And if you do get a chance, we have a new enclosure for them. So it is attached to the full enclosure that they have out there by the garage. And so they will be able to, there'll be a door open and they'll be able to go out and exercise in the winter and come back in. So if you get a chance and you want to go back and look at that. And then tree removal, I don't know if everybody would like a copy of this. And I did make copies, but Mark is going to be sending this out for quotes. And there's a couple of trees, 6 trees at Greenwood, and then there's 3 at Swan Lake that need to be removed. So I just thought if you'd like to look that over, that's what the tree services will like have a certain amount of time, and then they'll send us quotes, and then Mark can go from there. And we are going to change the January meeting. It's normally January 13th, but we're going to go ahead and change it to January 20th, which you see on the proposed meetings for 2022, because with holidays, New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day, it doesn't give me enough time with the holidays to get invoices in and everything, so we thought we would do the 20th if it's okay with everybody. And hopefully it won't be a blizzard.
Yeah,
And
virtual.
that is the superintendent's report. There's not much going on.
So all the other meetings next year will be on the 2nd.
Correct, second Thursday of every month.
Speaking of the meeting times, I know we switched this to 12 noon. Is there any way we could switch it to like 2 o'clock? One, because with people coming in, you know, their phones ringing, you know, and, you know, still gives us time to get out of here with daylight left. But 12 noon is, it kind of goofs me up too, work-wise. So, would we be able to do that? And we're probably looking, what, till at least March on the,
The time changes again, yeah.
or April? Would 2 o'clock work? 2 o'clock work for you, Andy? Would that work for you? Okay.
2 o'clock, okay.
Yeah, we'll change it to 2 o'clock meetings instead of 12 noon.
Starting in January?
Starting in January, yeah. Yeah. Yep. And we'll,
Is there a possibility that we will return to telephone meetings with the COVID situation?
We might.
Fluid as it is?
we might end up having to, once we hear from the city it goes. Then, if that's the case, we could do it at our normal time that we used to,
Okay.
you know, if we do have to do by phone.
Oh, okay. Phone would be then 3:30.
Yeah, that would be 3:30 then, on the virtual, or Zoom, I should say, whatever it's called. You can't see me anyway, you can't see me anyway, so. So, everybody okay with that? Mm-hmm. All right. New business. Got a couple things here.
You're doing the percentages first.
Yeah. Sure, I'm working my percentage sheet.
I have an extra one if you don't have one. This is the original, so I'm going to have Mrs. Keating sign this, and Paul, I'll have you sign it. If you like to explain what's going on with that. Did you find it?
Gotcha, gotcha.
Oh, no, I just handed it.
I know, but I had something else written out. Okay, on the percentage breakdowns, these are the percentages that we put into our funds. Grave sales, current maintenance for, is at 15%. That's the lowest we can go. The extension fund is set at 25%. Grave sales is 60%, which that goes into our operating side. Crypts and niches, the permanent maintenance is at 8% on that, which is the lowest we can go on that. Extension fund is 35%. Mausoleum sales, operating side is 57%. Bronze lettering, bronze marker and lettering, merchandise is 60%, and the lettering is 40%, which goes to the operation side. Now, come January, we're gonna have to look at raising the cost in the bronze because the bronze has gone up so much. So we'll discuss that once we get some true facts and figures. What we'll have to do, but everybody okay with the percentages as they are? This is something we have to vote on every year. It has to be, so we need if everybody's okay with the percentages, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So we'll have to do that every year.
For the controller's
For the
office,
controller's office wants it.
the State Board of Accounts. Actually, it's the State Board of Accounts that they have to have some type of documentation every year, a motion, a second motion by the board, that you are aware of where this money goes for the sale of everything in the cemetery. And so this year, Yvonne called me and said, we need to have this, an original signed by the president, vice president, and then everybody on the board every year, at the end of every year, has to make a motion and a second motion. So it's in the minutes every year for the State Board of Accounts. They just need some type of documentation, so. Thank you for explaining. You're welcome.
She knows more than I do. You deal with it every day. All righty. Any other new business?
Yes. I'd like to speak to the issue of holiday schedule, holiday pay for 2022. And the reason I'm suggesting we talk about this is because the city has increased the number of holidays that employees are giving. They're giving an additional holiday, Juneteenth, June 19th. And so in order to bring us in line, we need to make some changes to our schedule. Currently, the employees are getting 11 days. The city is currently getting, with the new one, I think 17 days, is that correct?
17.
Okay.
Yes.
And in addition to the 11 days that are named, such as New Year's and so forth and so on, to bring this total up, the hourly are getting 3 personal days and 1 birthday, which makes their total 16, and the salaried are getting 4 personal days and 1 birthday, which makes theirs 17. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay. The proposal I have is, because we cannot close this facility down, that it would be better to give the additional day as a personal day. So my proposal would be to increase the number of personal days the hourly get by 1, which would give them 4 personal days in addition to their 1 birthday, and to give the salaried an additional personal day, which would give them 5 personal days and their birthday. And that is my motion.
You're talking about cemetery employees.
Yes.
Just the cemetery, yeah.
Do they get-
They will not be working, they don't get all these holidays.
Correct.
That's right.
And do they just get personal days? Do they get sick days also, or is that?
That's a separate issue. That has nothing to do with what we are talking about. You can see here's what the city is getting.
Yeah, well, some companies, just like the school system, is just considered sick and personal blended. That's why I asked.
Okay, all right. Well, I didn't mean to be curt in my response.
Well, I didn't know
Sorry.
that.
We do get sick days,
Yeah.
but like I say, sick days are here for us, and personal days are personal
Sure,
days.
I understand.
There are no burials on holidays.
No, no.
Okay.
And that's why we don't have all of the holidays the city has, for that reason.
Right.
Well, and there's some of the holidays that don't
Everybody.
happen every year either.
Everybody does.
Yeah, like the primary election and the election day stuff, that doesn't happen. You know, they get Veterans Day, the guys don't get Veterans
Yeah, you
Day.
understand we'd be paying holiday pay if they were working on these holidays, and that's why it's better to do
Yeah, that's double
personal
time and a
day.
half.
Mhm.
So,
Any comments from the board?
I have a motion, I need a second one on this.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay. Anything else being brought up?
I want to know who's going to be decorating the Swan's new home for Christmas.
That'll be next, so.
I vote you.
I'll just go out there and put a big red bow.
Hey, good idea.
Did they get a new feeder or no?
No, we do not have a new feeder that we definitely need, because the geese eat most of the swan food.
I don't know whether, since they're gonna be penned up, whether we needed to get a.
We don't have to get it now
No,
because
right.
it's close to the
Come
time
spring.
of them being, but
Okay.
definitely when spring gets here, we're gonna have to have something with the swans. Are the only ones that can get into their food.
Good.
Okay.
Because by the time they get around there, after the geese, poor things are
Can the geese get into that pen where they're,
No,
you know, oh, they can't?
No,
no.
Are we going to name these guys? Huh? Have they ever been named?
no.
Oh, that's awful.
1 and 2.
Swan one, swan two.
We'll name them after the two oldest employees out here.
What? Bite your
I didn't
tongue.
hear that. I didn't hear that.
Well, my nickname is Rocky, so I suppose
Yeah,
that
we-
wouldn't be too bad if, you know, you wanted to go that route.
Anything else to talk about? Hearing none, or meeting is dismissed. Happy holidays, everybody.
Christmas.
We got a couple things.